Greetings, Earthlings. My name is Brandon, and welcome to Retro Reactions, a place where I experience amazing music from the 70s, 80s, and 90s for the very first time. And today we're going to be traveling all the way back to 1978 to listen to Jeff Wayne's musical version of The War of the Worlds by Jeff Wayne. And of course, that includes side one we're doing today. That's going to be The Eve of the War, and Horse Cell Common and The Heat Ray. And this one has come highly recommended by a few of you for a long time now, so I'm finally excited to get into it. I don't know too much other than the basic premise, I know it's based on the sci-fi novel The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, and obviously this is a musical version. I'm sure a lot of changes were made. I read that new characters were created, and so gotta find out what it's all about. Anyway, if you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button as well as the notification bell to join the Retro Reactions community, where it's all amazing music all the time, just like this. Here we go.
No one would have believed in the last years of the 19th century that human affairs were being watched from the timeless worlds of space. No one could have dreamed we were being scrutinized as someone with a microscope studies creatures that swarm and multiply in a drop of water. Few men even consider the possibility of life on other planets. And yet, across the gulf of space, minds immeasurably superior to ours regarded this Earth with envious eyes. And slowly and surely, they drew their plans against us.
Space disco at its finest. Really surprised with the music there. Trying to figure out what it's representing. I know this is before, the calm before the storm. Wow. Maybe it's representing the joy that humans are experiencing before the terror, before the chaos. Incredible. I mean, Richard Burton to start off with, perfect voice for this type of thing. I think he was also used in the Alan Parsons Project, first album that I've been reviewing or started to review. But he has such a cool, unique tone and inflection. Perfect. His voice is deep, mysterious, emotive. I don't know. I love it. I'm sure you guys get it, why it works for this type of thing. Kind of like Orson Welles in a way. His voice, very unique, mysterious, emotive as well. Once the deep strings kicked in, boom, I was hooked instantly. Really cool. You know how I feel about strings. Disco vibes, big surprise, Makes sense. This was probably at the height of the disco era, 1978. I'm sure there's going to be other types of music here, so really excited for the journey. Going to go section at a time. I'll probably do one side of the album per reaction. I know there's 4 sides, so excited to check out how this story is going to unfold musically. So many cool, dramatic, storytelling type string lines and synth lines written for this first song. Really enjoying it. I was already on quite the journey by the 2-minute mark, and these songs are long. That's really cool. It needs the time to unfold the story and give us everything they want to give us musically. And there's lots of really cool, sometimes subtle, spacey synth lines going on. They sound very otherworldly. I like the ones that are falling. I love that cascading string motif that went on a couple times there. But again, the synths, amazing. I love, the fact that they're making them sound, otherworldly, alien-like, mysterious, yet fitting with the groove perfectly here. Yeah, this song definitely gets funky at some points, really easy to dance to, and lots of cool guitar as well that does not go unnoticed by me. So let's go back a little and continue the journey.
Midnight on the 12th of August, a huge mass of luminous gas erupted from Mars and sped towards Earth. Across 200 million miles of void, invisibly hurtling towards us, came the first of the missiles that were to bring so much calamity to Earth. As I watched, there was another jet of gas. It was another missile, starting on its way. Flare spurting out from Mars, bright green, drawing a green mist behind it, a beautiful but somehow disturbing sight. Ogilvy, the astronomer, assured me we were in no danger. He was convinced there could be no living thing on that remote, forbidding planet.
The chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, he said. Of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, but still they come.
Then came the night the first missile approached Earth. It was thought to be an ordinary falling star, but next day there was a huge crater in the middle of the comet, and Ogilvy came to examine what lay there. A cylinder, 30 yards across, glowing hot, and with faint sounds of movement coming from within. Suddenly the top began moving, rotating, unscrewing. and Ogilvy feared there was a man inside trying to escape. He rushed to the cylinder, but the intense heat stopped him before he could burn himself on the metal.
The chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, he said. The chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, but still they come. Yes, the chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, he said. The chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, but still they come.
It seems totally incredible to me now that everyone spent that evening as though it were just like any other. From the railway station came the sound of shunting trains, ringing and rumbling, softened almost into melody by the distance. It all seemed so safe and tranquil.
It all seems so safe and tranquil. Wow. Really cool. Seamless transition. I kind of hope the whole album has these seamless, transitions, kind of just one big piece, one big story. Wow. What an introduction. Can't wait to see what happens in this song and of course the rest of the album, but I'm going to stop after this long 11-minute song coming up. Horcel Common and the Heat Ray. I know what happens. It's when the Martians, emerge and, incinerate some men that are coming towards it. So, wow. Pretty interesting. Pretty mind-blowing with all the elements. Usually a song is a story through lyrics, but here we're getting story through music and spoken. He's literally telling us a story, and that's a really nice combination, something I haven't heard much in music. Yeah, I'm definitely loving the combination of the narration with the amazing music. The music kind of tones down while he's talking, telling the story, so you can focus on Richard, but really cool there. And I'm definitely getting some ABBA vibes at times in this song. Makes sense, disco. ABBA was huge in disco. I see that Ogilvy comes in. I was wondering how you pronounce it, so I'm glad that Richard said the name. Ogilvy sang at some sections, giving his input, but I don't know who's singing in real life that part. I looked at the personnel list and it didn't show the character of Ogilvy, which singer is portraying him, so you guys can let me know. Also, really cool background choir vocals going on here. Really enjoying that. I love that, and I'm really glad they included it here. Hopefully we'll get some more background choir later on in the album. That cool down section at the end was really nice. Just some synths going on, spacey synths again, while Richard was doing some more narration. That moment was so atmospheric. I loved it. The whole thing is, but I love that it was just quiet, synthy music while he's telling this chilling tale. So let's continue.
gathered on the common, hypnotized by the unscrewing of the cylinder. 2 feet of shining screw projected when, suddenly, the lid fell off. Two luminous, disc-like eyes appeared above the rim. A huge, rounded bulk, larger than a bear, rose up slowly, glistening like wet leather. Its lipless mouth quivered and slavered, and snake-like tentacles writhed as the clumsy body heaved and pulsated. Young men crept closer to the pit. A tall funnel rose, then an invisible ray of heat leapt from man to man, and there was a bright glare as each was instantly turned to fire. Every tree and bush became a mass of flames at the touch of this savage, unearthly heat ray. People clawed their way off the common, and I ran too. I felt I was being toyed with, that when I was on the very verge of safety, this mysterious death would leap after me and strike me down. At last I reached Maybury Hill, and in the dim coolness of my home, I wrote an account for my newspaper before I sank into a restless, haunted sleep. I awoke to alien sounds of hammering from the pit and hurried to the railway station to buy the paper. Around me, the daily routine of life, working, eating, sleeping, was continuing serenely as it had for countless years. On Horsell Common, the Martians continued hammering and stirring, sleepless, indefatigable, at work upon the machines they were making. Now and again a light, like the beam of a warship's searchlight, swept the common, and the heat ray was ready to follow. Of soldiers came through and deployed along the edge of the common to form a cordon. That evening, there was a violent crash, and I realized with horror that my home was now within range of the Martians' heat ray. Dawn, a falling star with a trail of green mist landed with a flash like summer lightning. This was the second cylinder.
All right, so that was a little more of a distinct transition from the second song to the third song. We'll continue that journey for sure, because wow, what a journey. Like, it's hard to even describe. I mean, I've said that before, but this one was really, really unique. I got so lost in it. Obviously, I forgot to pause. It was 3/4. I said, forget it. I'm just loving this journey I'm on. I'm loving this intensity. But the whole thing was mind-blowing, especially the second one, I would say. So much to take in. It was almost brain scrambling because you're hearing all these different things and it's eerie, but then it's beautiful with strings and synth. And then it's this and then it's that. And then you get the chilling narration and all this combines to form this amazingly unique experience. You can't even really describe it. You guys have told me how great it was, but you have to actually hear it, experience it to understand for sure. Yeah, that 11.5 minutes went so fast. Again, I was so lost in it, but I really love, the slow fade out we got on that one. So much intensity in these 20 minutes or so. So it was kind of nice to just slowly take me out of it. And wow. So that second song, started with a really, really unusual bass tone. I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard a bass played that way. And then it was cool that it transitioned to a more traditional sounding bass. Really cool bass line, very, very ominous at the same time. Kind of similar to the Jaws, the do. But it was, totally different than that. But the same vein, repetitive, eerie, ominous of what's coming. Seems like we got more sound effects in this song. I just wrote, yes, please. That was really cool and so fitting. I mean, for this kind of a song, you need sound effects, especially went along with the narration at some points, I think, when you heard like a crashing sound and just so many sounds here. I really appreciated that. And then the recurring Martian theme, I'm calling it, started. Really cool melody written there. Reminded me of Martians. They completely succeeded in presenting their idea musically. It was funky, it was foreign, and it was creepy all at the same time. Really cool mix. It would go dark and then it would go a little bit relaxing and peaceful and then it would get eerie. And it was just, wow. Like I said, brain scrambling. And as some of you did, I cannot imagine hearing this in 1978 when it first came out. I mean, I don't know. It must have just had such a different effect back then. It must have been even more mind-blowing, I'm guessing. Never has terror and destruction sounded so funky and groovy. I love that each scene takes its time musically, It's a long album, maybe 80 or 90 minutes, I think you guys have told me. So they have plenty of time to let the story unfold, let the story breathe, like they take us to a musical idea and they don't put us there for, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30. I think they let it sit for, minutes and, some changes, but just let you sit there, experience it, almost like it's happening in real life. Yeah, these first two songs, especially the second song, gave us such a buffet of space sounds and melodies. Incredible and incredibly fitting. At one point in this one, I heard what I think was the mandolin. I wrote mandolin, and I see that's on the personnel list, so I think that's what it was. Kind of its own solo. Definitely very unique and unexpected in a song like this. There was so many falling notes. I love falling notes. I love bent notes. I talk about that fairly often. So many of them, mostly in the synths, I'm guessing. But, I love hearing that. It just adds to the terror of the song, the terror of the feeling that you're experiencing. So many cool synth choices here. So much artistry, creativity going on. Like the stuttered synth sound. It came in several times, especially in this song. I don't know if it was in the last song, probably not. And it sounded like a ray gun, basically, that heat ray that they keep talking about. That had to be what it represented, because that's what I heard out of it. Amazing instrumentation throughout, There was lines, grand lines that I was hearing, and I couldn't even tell if it was a guitar or a synth, so that was really cool. Very ambiguous there. At the end, towards the end, we got a really cool electric guitar solo. Did not expect that. Full-on rock electric guitar. Really sounded cool. It was so subtle, though, way back in the mix. But, that was intentional, clearly, but it was still there. It was still shining for me, and a very nice contrast from the rest of the song. But, they're kind of throwing out all the stops. Anything goes, the world's in crisis, so it makes sense that they'll throw in whatever they want. There's so much great building of the music in these songs, peaks and valleys, but a lot of build up, a lot of ominous build up. And it's so obvious in just hearing these first two songs that Jeff Wayne is a master composer and arranger. So kudos to him. I know the rest of the album's going to be just as brilliant. I already talked about the great ending section there, how I felt at the end, but one other cool thing, I heard like a talk box. It almost sounded like a guitar at one point, but I think it was a guitar and a voice, obviously some kind of talk box going on, kind of the wow going on. And to me, that represented the aliens communicating, talking in their own language. And again, one of many, many creative choices in these two amazing songs. So clearly I love both of these songs. I absolutely enjoyed the journey, the creativity, the artistic choices, the composition, the arrangement, the musicianship, the delivery, everything off the charts. You were completely right, Simon, so thank you so much for suggesting this, for pushing this, and the few others that did as well. I loved it. It has to get the double epic platinum record award. Yes, for Jeff Wayne's musical version of The War of the Worlds by Jeff Wayne and Company, 1978. Thank you so much, Jeff. This was brilliant. And all 24 musicians who were in this, it's a long personnel list, so I don't know who was in these two songs, but thank you to everyone who helped create these two wonderful gems. Alright, that is it for now. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below if you wish to chat about these two songs or anything Jeff Wayne. Would love to know your feedback. Would love to know what other type of albums he did, what other type of songs he did. Anyway, you take care, stay safe, stay hydrated, and remember to let peace, calm, and light into your day and night. And I'll see you next time in the past.